Hey, welcome back to the Ego Eraser Module 3. We made it. I told you this was going to be one of the most meaningful, my favorite lesson that I'm going to give in this course. Not that I don't enjoy the rest of them, but this to me is something that has transformed my life, that has made this entire process possible for me, and has given me the insight needed to bring myself here today in front of you, full force in the flesh, ready to deliver what it is that really will help you erase your ego, help you bring it under control, cage the beast, and help you live and manage the flow of your mind and the flow of your life. This is Module 3, the mystical experience. The mystical what? Experience. An experience that shows up in 7 mystical moments. 7 mystical moments that I have picked out for you today to start paying attention to as you move forward in your life, to utilize the space that you create when you're in these 7 moments to embrace the fullness of life, embrace the wholeness of your whole being, and allow the oneness that is life to creep its way on in, my friend. That's why you watch your ego, because it is a piece of you that edges God out. Now, if you are of some type of religion where you have a very particular way of communicating and believing in the higher power, I'm not here to tell you one way or the other what the truth is, what the higher reality is, or what the meaning of life is, other than to live it and learn and try to help others and serve. That's the meaning. But I want to tread lightly in that regard, because I have my own personal beliefs. You have your own personal beliefs, and I'm not here to tell you what exactly to believe. I'm here to tell you how to get more out of your own life, how to manage that little beast that crawls around in your mind, that shadow, the devil, whatever the hell you want to call it. We all have it. It's the line of good and evil it's the line of good and evil in the hearts of all men and women and all people in between. So the reason the mystical experience is so important is because it's that moment where, instead of edging God out, we bring the higher forces in. We allow the oneness of life to just flow with us. In fact, that's the first mystical moment, is flow. And I'll reveal it. Oh, technical tape difficulty. It's flow. Now, before I go too deep, I know I revealed it kind of fast, but I just want to set you up to understand flow for a second. Because when you finally get at the mystical experience, when this comes into your life, it is a flow, a flooding in of so many of your senses. It can be almost paralyzing how big of a feeling this super connection could be, because the mystical experience, it literally hurdles you into connection with the greatness of life, with the greater oneness and wholeness of life. And if you are someone, you've made it to this 3rd module, you might be saying, Jordan, I've never had, you might go through all 7 of these and think, I've never had what you're talking about. I've never experienced this. I don't really know what you're getting at. Now, if you go back to watch your ego and you begin the meditative practices that are in there for you, I did my best to give you that head start to push you in the right direction, that you may bring that force into your life, that you may begin to connect with who you are inside yourself, connect with all of life. Now, the real effectiveness of this comes down to how well of a connection do you have to yourself? How well of a connection do you have to others? And how do you feel, do you even feel connected to life itself? Because, I'll even get out, I'll even do some drawing for you real time. Let's do it. Let's try to give you a mini mystical, super spiritual lesson. I want the black marker. Where are you, buddy? There you are. So follow me here. If the universe, now I know Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't here to correct me, but if the universe is actually infinite, and if our reality is infinite, then, oh my God, Pepperoni Pizza House is not closing, and I don't want to ruin my friend here. There we go. If the universe is infinite, look how beautiful that is. Well, let's make it a little better. Oh, black marker, there we go. Then, let me ask you, if we were to take a point on that line, a point on the infinity sign, and we'll zone in right here. let's say we zone in on that point right there. And we zoom all the way in and we zoom all the way in. And what do you know? It's me. It's a person. It's you. No matter where you are on this thing, there you are. So now we've zoomed in on infinity, the whole reality, and we've come to you. You who might feel like a separate person. You know, I don't know what your name is, but we'll call you Phil for right now. So Phil, you are this little point, or person, you are that point. And you might be thinking, well, so what on that point? But that's the beauty of it. You're always connected to this. We can try to separate it into points and we can try to put boxes and containers around everything. But in reality, you are what you are. You are connected to the infinite and the infinite is in you. Now, this might seem a little too spiritual for you, but this is real ground level reality. You may think that you end at your skin and bones, but that's if you think that your name, your ego, your personhood is really what is your essence, what remains maybe when you die. But you know, that's a question for some other course. But in this moment, who and what you are is part of the greater infinite. You are connected to that and you flow with it. And how you get in touch with that flow is through those activities that pull you out into the moment, that pull you away from keeping track of time, those moments and those activities that get you to lose track of time, whether that's meditation, going for a run, or spending time with people, playing video games, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, that entertaining thing, that's what flow is. Flow is alpha state. And we get super deep into flow. So if you're super serious about learning how to masterful flow and learn how to get the most out of flow, check out the Distraction Eliminator. And if you already have it, you've gone through it, then you know what I'm talking about. You know the power of flow in your life, and you know that once you master flow, there we go again, once you master flow, you can eliminate distraction, pull yourself away from your ego, because when you're in flow, it's not as important who you are and all the problems that you have. No, you're in it, you're in the moment, you're fully present and here. And that's why flow is a mystical moment, because the ego dissolves. It literally just disappears. This thing that judges you and limits you and separates you from what you can be, it's gone. When you're running and you're grinding and you're going, or maybe you're a writer like I am and you're just flowing and you're just letting the creativity jive, then who you are and all the problems of the day and all the things you have to do, they disappear. You put those aside when you go into flow. And that's why it's so mystical, because you stop being this thing that's a person and you just are. You are the being, and the doing become the one thing that is happening. So the next mystical moment, I'll put my marker away real quick. The next mystical moment is to go into nature. Now, some people forget that because we're talking creatures and we've got buildings and cities and cars and roads and cell phones and beautiful cameras that get beautiful people on them, we forget that we are animals. Like, roar, we are animals, my friend. Let me hear you roar. Can you roar for me? Give me some of that lion. Let me hear it. I can't really hear it. Made you look. Nature, getting into nature is about connecting here in the moment with your animal side, connecting with the part of you that is truly a part of the natural world. Because when we're disconnected from it, when we're living in those hives known as cities and living in those smaller hives known as suburbs, we get pulled out of our natural environment, so much to the point where the wiring in our brain starts to get a little chaotic. It starts to get a little egoic and become, think about a city. It's got boxes everywhere and everything is separated by streets, by names, by codes and everything. And there's an order to those codes and there are cops to make sure that the order gets taken place. But in nature, look around you. It just is. It takes care of itself. It recycles things. Animals eat each other. There's a natural order to it. Now, it's not to say that we aren't natural beings doing natural things. We're just humaning all over the place. But if you can pull yourself out of civilization in the way that it is and just take a couple of hours every month, maybe once a week, and go into nature, we've clinically shown that, well, not us particularly, but it's been clinically shown that you can actually activate flow states and alpha brain states where you actually are dissolving that self-knowing, that self-beingness, that selfhood, that personhood thing. You're letting it dissolve and you just go into the space. You go into the space of nature and you participate in it. You get to breathe that fresh air instead of the exhaust and brake dust. You get to see the sunlight, see the light reflected off the trees, like crystalline little speckles everywhere. I know, I'm such a poet, aren't I? You get to participate in what you really are. And you are an animal, you are a being, a creature who is a part of all things. And you need to go back into that. Now, I'm not supposed to tell you what to do, but you need it anyway, man. You're meant to go back into nature and participate there. You're meant to sit with the ants walking around. You're meant to see the spiders and the moths and the butterflies and the bees. There's something truly rewarding about putting yourself into those places. You know, it's why so many people are able to fall asleep and really zone in or zone out, listening to wave noises, listening to crickets. There's something super therapeutic about it, and there's something mystical about it. Again, we're looking to dissolve that thing, erase the little brat that's consistently telling you that you are separate, you're special, you're a victim, and we're looking to pull ourselves away from that and snap out of it and pull us immediately into the moment. And nature has that effect on us. It has that effect on me, and it has that effect on you. So respect it. Respect the fact that we need trees, we need flowers, we need life. Life begets life. Life is life. Life loves and appreciates life. You know, I thought it was the funniest thing. The other day I saw someone walking their dog, and I commented, that's just one animal with another animal on a leash. How hysterical is that? Imagine if it was like a monkey walking around with a little cat. I don't know, humor me. So after nature, because nature pulls us immediately into that flow state, but you know, forget for now the natural world, but bring yourself back into the world of people and the world of us, me and you and I. And that pulls us into conversation. You see, when I'm even recording this, when I'm doing my best and giving you my all, I'm in a flow. I'm connecting with something that brings me out of myself. Now, of course, I'll use, Jordan references and Jordan memories just to help you and facilitate your understanding so that you can relate to me and have a full-on experience. But conversation allows you to just dissolve that judgmental part of you, dissolve that piece of you that is constantly trying to make you separate and special. Instead, it brings you in because you care about this person or you are interested and curious about this person. And it dissolves the pieces of you that are preventing you from being in connection. You see, there's a space between the two of us, and that space is connection. It is the beating of our hearts, the electromagnetic waves that connect us. It is the electromagnetic waves of our brains. Nothing is self-contained. We are forces sent out. And conversation is about connecting through words, connecting through body language, connecting through those subtleties that allow us to have a mystical moment, a connection, a shared connection where we're holding hands and we're crying together and we're hugging and we're in conversation with one another. And it's mystical because you realize immediately that you have a shared experience, that this is another beautiful being, full of his or her own memories, full of his or her own experiences. And that is mystical in and of itself. It boggles my mind that there are other people out there and that I'm a person each day. Have you ever thought about it? These are the moments, these kinds of conversations where it's elevated. Like when I first met my woman and we were sitting down, we were talking to one another, and just the more that we talked, the more that I just flowed with it, the more that I fell for her, the more that I was just triggered and was having this moment of like, this person exists and all she's doing is hitting all those buttons that make me feel so alive. That's the key, is to talk to people who make you feel alive. Not just who kisses your ass and sycophantly makes you feel good, but who makes you come alive. That aliveness, that spark, is the mystical moment that you can have in conversation. So now we're going to start to take it a little deeper. We're going to go even deeper into those mystical moments and start really getting at the crazy experiences that take us over. And those are intense. They're intense because when they happen with such surprise and shock. They literally shock you into connection with yourself, shock you into connection with the greater oneness of life. And, this next one, it may not be something that you're completely open to, and I understand that. I understand that we've come to a point in our society where we've gotten a bit detached from this particular one. But if you are someone who has a connection to this, or someone who has a practice in this regard, it'll all become clear in a moment, then you're in a place where the mystical can be invited in. And if you don't have this kind of practice, you don't have this in your life, that's okay too, because there's plenty of other ways to get at it, obviously. So the fourth step, the fourth mystical moment, is religion. It's what is called the religious experience. Now, each of us has our own faiths. We have our own relationship with our own higher powers. And if you don't believe in a higher power, then you just have a relationship with, hopefully, the universe or reality or something. Hopefully you have some connection to something bigger than yourself. That, to me, in a nutshell, is what the higher power is. It's just anything bigger than my vessel that includes me as well. And religion is a codified super system. You've got Judaism and Hinduism, which have, we just celebrated the Jewish New Year recently, and it was 5780. A text, a tradition that is 5,000 years old. The Hindus have